action.
What is up, YouTube? This is going to be a behind the scenes look at how we made these little Justy Idents spots for the UEFA Euro 2020 tournament, which you might have spotted at some point during the games. So I'm going to talk you through the whole process of making these ads. We've got loads of behind the scenes footage from the shoot. I'm going to go through the equipment that we used, the camera techniques, and some of the post-production and VFX that we did as well.
That looks so good.
Shooting in 2 days' time, and it's currently covered in snow. So this whole project started with the storyboards from the agency, which lays out the top level idea of quickly cutting between the delivery of the Just Eat rider and the delivery of the ball on the football pitch. And this was conceived by the talented creatives Connor and Jack from McCann, London, and then my job as the director is basically to bring it to life. So the pre-production process was about working out how we were going to shoot it. So that's looking at locations, watching self-tapes and casting our footballers, sorting out cameras, lighting, props, wardrobe. We are recceing the five-a-side location, shooting in 2 days' time, but it's been really cold in London. It's been snowy and icy. Basically, we have to make this place seem like summer in Europe, and it's currently covered in snow.
It's a nice little summer frost, you know, classic.
Summer frost. Alright, so we're at our first location, which is Crystal Palace. This is where we're doing the five-a-side and the indoor stuff, so we're doing the indoor sequence first. Over there we've got the boys setting up the camera stuff. We've got the rickshaw. We're going to get the big light up there, so we've got the Arri 18K, which is massive. That's going to be like our kind of fake sunlight. That's going to come in here, create some really nice beams on the floor. So at the beginning of the shoot, every department is setting up their own thing. The wardrobe team are getting the footballers dressed. This is when I started to block out the moves with them and we worked out exactly who was going to be doing what. Also chatting with the creators from the agency who wrote the script and came up with the ideas to make sure that everybody is super aligned with what's going on. It's actually quite tricky to choreograph football like this just because we needed to shoot some very specific close-up moments just by themselves, but also needed to make it look like it was happening as part of a flowing game too. Meanwhile, the Gaffer and the Sparks are fine-tuning the lighting, the ACs are prepping the camera, and then we're pretty much ready to shoot.
And 3, 2, 1, action.
Now, because all that we were looking for was just a few very specific moments of close-up action, we did spend a lot of time repeating the same little kicks and flicks over and over again, fine-tuning the details, making sure that every frame looks as nice as possible. We shot most of it handheld because we wanted that nice energetic camera motion and wobble. But then we did also have this rickshaw, which was a way of getting slightly longer movements really close to the ground too. Then the next thing I needed was to get a shot of the spinning ball on a green screen that I could cut out. So we built this lollipop rig thing and then we shot it like this. And then we also shot a background plate of the ball, POV moving through the air on the gimbal. And then when we put these two bits together, we have this cool spinning ball shot heading into the back of the net. And this is actually a shot that we used in all three edits, so we did it in all the three different locations. And then the final part of the indoor scene was getting some foot POV shots using my red Komodo on this shoulder mount. I didn't know exactly how it was going to fit into the edit, but I wanted to get all the movements we'd shot already from this perspective as an emergency cutaway option.
Nice, that was good, man.
So this is location 2, out on the five-side pitch. So the next segment was the five-a-side sequence. We moved the 18K outside to give us this like narrow patch of sunlight and some hard shadows on the pitch. And then we also fired a light directly into the lens too to give us a bit of flare and really pump up the kind of golden hour vibes that we were going for. And then it was just about picking up the same sort of shots as before. Lots of close-ups on the feet, and then we did the POV rig again outside too. So the final location of day one was Charlton Athletic Football Ground in South East London. We didn't really light anything at all here and just used the stadium lights. We started on a couple of drone shots, and then we moved to the back of the net goal cam, which is probably going to be the trickiest moment of the entire film. I wanted to get the ball slamming into the camera and then cut completely to black, which we could use as a transition to the finger on the doorbell. But because we had to have the camera quite low down and we had to get this perspex sheet in front of it, and we were super wide, it was really hard for the players to hit the right spot and for the ball to occupy the whole frame.
Close, mate.
We'll get this, boys, we can get this.
Anyway, once we got a few decent takes, then we got the players to go somewhere else on the pitch and be the other members of the team. And we only had 8 people in total, so we needed to duplicate them to make up the full team. Then this shot had a lot of work done to it in post. We had to add in the crowd, and then we had to build a whole new roof with much more impressive and symmetrical lights. I wanted to do a long tracking shot on the rickshaw, but then the rain started to come in at the end of the shoot, and the groundsman said we'd only be allowed one go at it before he kicked us off the pitch.
3, 2, 1, action!
So we went for it, and this was the last shot of the day.
That's perfect, mate. Right, slow down, slow down, slow down, slow down. Catch up, right, off we go again, same thing.
That looks great. That looks so good.
This is our helicopter rig, trying it out for the first time. I actually had this other thing I wanted to try, which was a sort of rotating helicopter rig that had a 360 camera on the end and would give us this really unique orbiting shot of the feet. I built a really basic prototype and tested it at home, and it looked cool. So me and Mike, the DP, tried to work out how we could build something that might work for the shoot. We ended up using a Ronin-esque gimbal, which we thought would stay nice and level and balanced while it span around. To be honest, it worked in principle, but when it actually came to getting a usable shot, it didn't really spin around for long enough. It was quite hard to change direction, and it also meant that we just didn't have enough control of what was going to be in the frame, and basically couldn't avoid seeing the crew and the lighting around the edges. But I think conceptually it was quite a cool idea, and definitely something I'd like to give a proper go to on something else in the future. The first location of day 2 was down in the Docklands on a nice redevelopment site that felt quite clean and modern European. This is where we did our daytime cycling delivery bits. We started off with a drone shot using the Inspire 2 again. This was just a nice match cut with the rider overtaking someone to mimic the football action that we got the night before. Then we had a couple of cycling shots, and again the challenge was making it feel warm and sunny. So we did the shining the light down into the lens directly again to make a nice flare.
Boom. Okay, cool. Ready?
Yeah, cool.
So we're doing the doorbell sequences. So we're at the house location. This is going to be 3 different houses. We had one house exterior that we used 3 times to give us 3 different doorbell moments for the 3 different spots. So this is the surgeon weapon lens. We used the probe lens on the Arri to mimic a Ring doorbell camera perspective. The reason was so that our rider could effectively block the whole lens with his finger and cut to black for the transition, which wouldn't be possible with a normal size wide lens.
So this is our POV delivery man rig. Can you give us the action? Show us what you've done.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing.
So for the restaurant shots, we had to create what looked like 3 different locations all in the same place for our 3 different spots. So for 2 of them we went for bright daylight by punching in an HMI from the outside and filling the frame with sort of wood and plants to make it feel kind of rustic and Scandinavian.
Great stuff.
It was actually quite dark outside by this point, but just by lighting the right part of the background, we were able to sell the daytime feel pretty convincingly, I think. Then we literally used exactly the same countertop, but swapped out the lights for some Astera tubes, which we turned onto a vibrant neon and orange to give us a totally different mood and feel for our nighttime delivery sequence. And then our final location was back to the cycling spot for a couple of nighttime delivery shots. We got the rickshaw out for some cool tracking shots behind the cyclist. Then we got some really nice bokeh and flares from the city lights now after dark. And then we did a final bit of POV. And then that was a wrap.
Well done, guys.
What's up? It's Dad. He's taking me out for a walk.
So now onto the post-production. I've got the Premiere project open here for you to see the timelines. We had a lot of different edits for different markets, each requiring slightly different versions and lengths, so I probably spent more time doing reversioning than actually editing here. One of the key things for these spots was the sound design, as we obviously didn't use any music, so I spent a long time really trying to dial in the energy and the beats through a mixture of sound effects and what we were able to capture on the shoot. With the sound, I like to have a good go at it myself, which is what you can see here, just throwing in a load of layers and seeing what I like, and then I'll pass it off to someone who knows what they're doing a bit better for the final tidy up and the final sound mix. And then the final stage in the process is the colour grade. So you can see the log image here straight off the camera, and then the final graded shots after Yumin, our awesome colorist, had got stuck in and done her incredible work on it. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative. If you've got any questions, please do leave me a comment. If not, hit like, hit subscribe, and stay tuned for the next one.